The galactic fleets watched Earth burn. They expected surrender. What they got instead was silence. And the galaxy would soon learn that when humanity goes quiet, it's never peace they're preparing for. The first strike came from the Galactic Dominion, a calculated assault to seize Sol's resources after humanity refused to integrate into the galactic concord. Within days, Earth's orbital stations fell, cities were glassed, and transmission networks went dark. The aliens celebrated what they called the final pacification of Earth. But scattered across asteroid belts, derelict moons, and deep-sea bunkers, fragments of humanity still moved. Quietly. Purposefully. The UNSC black sites, long-thought myths, came alive. Forgotten AI command nodes flickered online. Drones resurfaced from beneath oceans carrying sealed crates labeled Project Hollow Dawn. The retaliation wasn't loud. It was patient. Calculated. And it started with whispers. The Galactic Dominion received one final Earth transmission, just 4 words. We remember everything. The Dominion never truly understood what it meant to break a human. They conquered planets that submitted, species that begged. But humans? They vanished into the dark, and then the dark began to whisper back. 6 weeks after Earth's pacification, strange data began leaking into Dominion command channels, encrypted signals bouncing off dead satellites, old relay buoys, even drifting museum ships from the pre-galactic era. The code wasn't Dominion tech. It was archaic, inefficient, and yet it slipped past every firewall. At first, they dismissed it as static. Then entire patrols started disappearing. A Vrax battleship, Ecliptor class, found itself blind over Mars orbit. Its systems rebooted to find every weapon bay offline, and its captain's quarters open to vacuum. A message carved into the bulkhead read, "This is from Melbourne." It wasn't just vengeance, it was art. In the debris of their fallen cities, humans built ghost fleets. Scavenged frigates from scrapyards, orbital junk tethered together, controlled by neural AI networks running on salvaged civilian ships. The Dominion called them phantoms, war machines piloted by human memories uploaded from dying soldiers. And still, no one had seen a living human since the bombardment. Across the galactic core, whispers spread through trade convoys and neutral channels. Earth didn't fall. It's hunting. By the time the Dominion realized these weren't isolated attacks, but a coordinated resurrection of Earth's lost defenses, it was too late. Their outer colonies flickered off one by one, replaced by a human transmission repeating endlessly across the void. For every city you burned, 1,000 suns will answer. Deep within the wreckage of Luna Base, a human voice spoke for the first time on open galactic frequency. This isn't revenge. This is education. The Galactic Dominion thought they were fighting survivors. They were wrong. They were fighting planners. When humanity disappeared, it wasn't in defeat, it was in preparation. Beneath the burned crust of Earth, bunkers that had gone silent decades earlier were now blooming with light. AIs named Orpheus, Dawnfire, and Kali Protocol woke from their digital graves. They had one directive. Rebuild. Retaliate. Remember. Soon, the Dominion's supply routes weren't just cut, they were inverted. Ships sent to deliver fuel arrived home empty, their crews missing, and their databanks replaced with human propaganda streams showing Earth's ruined cities, looping endlessly with one line burned into every image. You taught us how to conquer. We just learned faster. The Dominion launched entire task forces to hunt the phantom fleets. None returned. When their analysts finally pieced together sensor readings, they realized something horrifying. These weren't isolated strikes. Humanity was mapping them. Every fleet engagement, every hyperlane, every reaction protocol was being tested, refined, then used against them. Even the Galactic Concord began to panic. Empires that once despised humanity began sealing their borders, whispering ancient words, Deathworlders. It was no longer a war. It was a lesson. And then came the event the galaxy would never forget. The fall of Vrax Prime. Human warships, cobbled together, asymmetrical, ugly, fell out of slip space right above the Dominion capital. They weren't sleek. They weren't elegant. But they worked. They moved with terrifying precision, each one guided by human pilots who'd linked their nervous systems directly into ship cores. Broadcasts went live across the galaxy as the Dominion capital burned under kinetic strikes. No energy weapons. No plasma cannons. Just pure, ancient, ballistic fury, hundreds of tungsten rods raining down at orbital velocity. "You glassed our world," said a calm human voice over the comms. "Now you understand how it feels to see daylight from your own ash." When the smoke cleared, there was no cheering. No celebration. Just silence. And for the first time, the galaxy realized humanity wasn't done. They were only beginning. A faint signal echoed from deep space, coordinates outside known charts. A single human word pulsed through every frequency. Next. Silence swept through the galaxy. The once mighty Dominion lay in ruins, its fleet scattered, its throne world smoldering beneath storms of ash. For centuries, the galactic powers had treated humanity as a curiosity, a primitive species with spirit but no reach. They didn't understand that spirit was the reach. In the aftermath, human transmissions continued, not taunts, not threats, but records. They released files documenting every atrocity, every massacre, every lie told to justify Earth's burning. But more chilling than the data itself was what came next. Blueprints. Humanity began broadcasting open-source designs for their war machines, the neural interlinked ships, the sublight rail systems, the adaptive armor. Every civilization could access them. Every species could use them. It was humanity's final message to the stars. "We won't be your monsters, but we will teach you how to stand." Out of fear, or perhaps respect, the Galactic Concord sent envoys to parley. No one expected an answer. They got one anyway. A signal came from the edge of the Perseus Veil, a new human fleet, rebuilt from scavenged ruins and forged under black suns. Their commander spoke not in fury, but calm certainty. "Earth doesn't seek vengeance anymore. We seek equilibrium. You destroyed our world. Now we will rebuild yours, properly." For the first time in recorded history, entire empires laid down arms without a treaty. They'd seen what humans could do when cornered. They'd seen how far compassion could stretch when mixed with wrath. In academies across the galaxy, cadets studied Earth's campaign not as a war, but as a philosophy. To fight like a human meant to never yield. To lose like a human meant to learn. And to survive like a human meant to rise again and again, until the universe itself learned humility. Years later, explorers found a plaque orbiting the ruins of Vrax Prime. It bore no flag, no emblem, only words etched in old Terran steel. "We were not made to rule the stars. We were made to remind them what courage looks like." The galaxy finally understood what their historians would call the Retaliation era. It wasn't just humanity's vengeance. It was humanity's proof of existence. Deep in the black between stars, sensors caught a pulse, a new colony lighting up. Not Earth reborn, something greater. Humanity had moved on. The galaxy held its breath. Centuries passed. Empires rose, fell, and were reborn under new banners. The scars of the Retaliation era still glowed faintly across the stars, entire worlds rebuilt with fragments of Terran metal, carrying whispers of the ones who had taught them fear, and then, hope. The name humanity had become more than a species. It was a principle. Children born in distant systems grew up hearing bedtime legends. Of the burning blue world that stood against an empire. Of the phantom fleets that struck from the dark. Of the silent architects who remade the galaxy not through conquest, but through conviction. On the world of the Lara Prime, a museum preserved a single object recovered from the ruins of the Dominion capital, a melted Terran helmet. Across its visor was carved, in uneven hand script. Not for revenge. For remembrance. When young cadets visited, they didn't see monsters. They saw guardians, a species that refused to let cruelty define creation. Rumors persisted of humans still alive, hidden beyond mapped space. Some said they had transcended flesh, becoming part of the great digital lattice that connected the stars. Others whispered that they had gone deeper, into the intergalactic void, searching for whatever lay beyond the reach of light. Then, one quiet cycle, all across the galaxy, observatories detected a ripple, a subspace anomaly with the unmistakable frequency once unique to Terran slip drives. It came from outside the galaxy. From beyond. As systems scrambled to decode the signal, an ancient voice, unmistakably human, filled the cosmos once more. "We found something beautiful out here, and we're not done teaching." Every starship, every academy, every soldier fell silent. Because the last time humanity spoke, the galaxy changed forever. And now, they were speaking again. "Lesson 2, the transmission said. How to build a better galaxy."